this video, I'll be telling you tips that you need to do more in games so that you can survive and do better in games. So if you want to know those tips, make sure to watch the entire video. Yo, what's good everyone, welcome back to another video. Just as the intro say, I'll be telling you tips that you need to do so that you can survive and do better in games. So with that being said, let's go to our first step. What do I mean by that? It's pretty simple, you know. Knowing your strength means knowing what you're good at. For example, if you're good with the SMGs, use them, because if you use the stuff that you're familiar with, it's easier for you to know what to do next. Just like from my previous video, I talked about how time to kill is important. So if you're familiar how fast SMGs can kill, that will give you the advantages to move at a faster pace. So if you're good with SMGs, mastering how to use SMGs. What do I mean by mastering them? It's pretty easy. All you have to do is learn all of the things that is related to SMGs. You learn the upgrades, you learn the time to kill, you learn when to hip fire ADS. If you are struggling with that, by the way, I made a video on when you should do it. Make sure to watch that after this video. And for weaknesses, this will have to go with whatever your strength is. So for this case, it would be the SMGs. There are a lot of weaknesses for SMGs users. You'll have to put up close, so that means you can't be playing SMGs like an assault rifle or a sniper. Or another example of this is taking on fights that requires you to use something like an assault rifle or DMR. So with that being said, make sure to cover up for your weaknesses and improve them. That means flanking the other team and not taking them head on like a hoe, like thinking they're all good like ninja. No fam, you're not it. Or looking away to get closer than fighting on sight. Like, bro, you see enemy, you shoot. Don't do that. That's just not it, you know. That's not a good decision. This also just doesn't have to be SMGs or weapon. This also can relate to rogues on like how to play them, on what they're good at and what they're not good at. So if you want to know the strength and weaknesses of these rogues, make sure to leave a like and let me know. Who knows, because I might do it. So at the end of the day, make sure to learn your strength and weaknesses and find ways on how you could overcome your weaknesses and how you could improve your strength. This tip will relate to the first step because decision making is what wins your one-on-one and maybe even the game. How does this relate to the first step, you say? That's easy. Whatever you decide on can or will have to do something with your strength and weaknesses, whether that decision will help you or not. So before doing a decision, make sure you think ahead of maybe like 3, 5, 10, maybe even 100 steps ahead of your enemies and see if that decision you're about to make will help you and your teammates, not just you, or not. Alright, so make sure to think carefully whether what you're about to do is gonna be good or not. Just because the enemy team has pro players doesn't mean it's the end of the day. Well, I mean, it's kind of is. However, if you know how to decide or strategize, then you can win the game. To be honest with you, I'm gonna be honest with you, if you do win the game, I'll give you props. Against those pro players, I'll give you big props. Back to what I was saying, another way for you to do a good conclusion decision is through failure. If you got killed because of a decision you did, fix it, you know. What did you do wrong? How can you fix it? Find out what you did wrong and fix it, you know. You get better through failures. From this failure, you found something out that doesn't work, so that means you know what not to do next time, you know. It's okay to experiment on stuff and see whether it'll help you or not, as long as you don't repeat the same mistake over and over again. Long story short, make a decision that you know that won't fail you, and if you did fail, make sure to change something up and fix them, you know, because failure is what success is. Failure will you get what I'm saying? Failure will do something with success, okay? Moving on with our third tip is mastering weapons. There are not a lot of weapons in Rogue Company compared to something like Call of Duty or Halo. That gives you like more of a reason to learn the stuff about the weapons, you know? Why master weapons, you say? It's pretty easy. Mastering weapons will give you the knowledge that you need to know to get better. For example, you learn the damage of the weapons, and with that, you learn the time to kill the weapons. You learn the upgrades of the weapons, and with that, you learn what upgrades are worth it, and so on. The more you learn about every weapons in the game, the more you get better at knowing what weapons you should be using instead of the other. This will also give you the advantage against the other team, because if you know what rogues have what guns, then you can predict which gun they'll most likely use, because they'll most likely use this because of this. You feel me? Because you know them, and you knowing which gun they'll be most likely use, you'll be one step ahead of the enemy. So when you're bored, go to the shooting range and try out guns and learn every single speck of knowledge that you could learn from the guns, and try to do this to every gun, you know. This might seem boring, but trust me, it'll be worth it. This is something that I've been seeing a lot lately, and that is doing jump shots. I'm not talking about 2K, okay? I'm not talking about basketball. What I mean by jump shot is shooting and jumping at the same time. This allows you to be a harder target and also will give you the advantage. Combining jump shot with knowing the time to kill and also with the right perk, this will make you look like a vacuum because you just be sucking them up.
Pause.
Another example of using jump shot is going on a corner where like there's a camper. By jumping out of a corner and start shooting at them, this will leave them by surprise and be on panic mode. We just don't know what to do because they're on panic mode, and next thing you know, they're dead. This jump shot will also be lethal when you mix this up with melees. Jump shotting is gonna be lethal when you use melees as well, because you know melees are one tap, maybe even shotgun if you have good aim. So with that being said, do jump shots more often, and do jump shots when there's a camper on a corner and catch them by surprise when you do it. This tip is pretty self-explanatory because patient is patient. All you have to do is wait for the enemy to make a mistake and use that to your advantage, you know? I see a lot of people, even on my team, that gets impatient a lot of times, and when they do that, they die. They got impatient when all they had to do was wait for the enemy to come to us and we would start jumping them, but now that's blown because someone decided to push them thinking this is Fortnite. Anyway, being impatient can also affect your team because just like that story that I told you, enemy now knows that there's a high possibility of us being behind that corner and now we can't jump them. So just make sure to be more patient, and a lot of players get impatient on the other team most of the times, and just use it to your advantage because most of the time all you have to do is just play objective, you know, and when they do a mistake, bada boom bada pow, you won. I made an advanced tips earlier this week, so if you want to check that out, it'll be on the screen right now. And if you're also struggling to find your settings, I also made a video about that. It'll also be on the screen right now. Anyway, that's gonna be it. Thank you guys for watching. See ya.